And I'm going to create a rectangle at 100 by 100 by 100 by 100. Let's actually change this to mouse X, mouse Y, 100 and 100. I need the parenthesis and a semicolon. So you can see right here, as I have my mouse moving with a rectangle, the X and Y coordinate, the 0, 0 for a rectangle is located at the top left-hand corner. If I create an ellipse, you just copy that, and we'll paste it, and we'll change this to an ellipse. You'll see that the ellipse center point is in the middle of the ellipse. So the rectangle is, the corner is at 0, 0 is at the top left-hand corner, and 0, 0 for an ellipse is right in the middle. This will come into play when we're working with some of the projects this week, because we are going to be using some offsetting of some of the functions. So that way we can create some assets that we're going to use in games that we create during quarter number 4. So as we're creating some things here, we're going to develop those over the course of the next couple weeks into something we can use to create a brick breaker game. We can create like a Space Invaders style game, and so on. The rectangle, when I have it here, I'm going to change this down so it's 25 by 25, so it's nice and small. So if I wanted the mouse pointer to be in the center of that rectangle, if the rectangle is 25 pixels, I need to, in the X direction, I need to subtract because I need to move it to the left of the mouse pointer. If I do 25, you see now it's on the other side. And so I have to do right in the middle of that, which is 12.5. And so now my mouse pointer is right in the middle of that rectangle square. Same thing for the mouse Y, because I have to move it in the positive direction. I have to move the mouse in the negative direction as well. There we go. I have to move it in the negative direction because the rectangle has to move up, so I have to bring it back in both directions. And so I want to make sure that I have the mouse right there in the center. Now I can move it over that way. If I need to move this rectangle, let's say that I'm creating so now it's long this way. It starts to look more like one of the like a brick breaker paddle or a pong paddle. I'm going to create a game similar to that. I can lock this left and right. If I want to lock it here at 300, I could change the Y direction, the Y location to 300, and now it doesn't matter where I move the mouse X or in the Y direction, the X always stays attached to the mouse, but the Y doesn't move at all. So it doesn't go up and down. It keeps it in the same location. If I wanted it to be off to the side of the mouse farther, I could change that over in the X direction. Do something like this where it's off to the side of the mouse, the pointer there. So we have those things. Another thing we can do is make multiple copies of this. This is one of the projects I'm going to demonstrate here in just a second. I could copy this one, and let's say that I wanted to have one on either side of the mouse. So I have two of these. Instead of going minus 100, I could do plus 100. But that looks kind of crazy, doesn't it? Like it's not directly in the middle. Because it's going off of the center point. So that where the mouse pointer is to the left corner on both rectangles is the exact same distance, 100 each direction. But because it's off of that left-hand corner, so our projects this week, the things I'm going to have you work on, use these same skills right here, using offsets. You are more than welcome to use Khan Academy as your, to use the number scrubber to move the things around on the canvas. But then you'll copy those into here. You'll copy those into your P5 sketch, and then you're going to save them in here, so that way we have them, we have access to them later. I'm going to save this. Autosave is enabled, and it's going to continue to save. So if I show you this project that I created, the game paddle, and I display it on a full screen editor, you can see that this is a game paddle. It looks very similar to an Arkanoid Brick Breaker style, Pong style game. And this is something we're going to be using in, like I said, quarter 4. We're going to create a game similar to that where you bounce the ball off the paddle. The paddle is only a rectangle and 2 ellipses, but the ellipses have some offset, and the paddle gets locked to a specific location there. So the Y coordinate is set to a certain location. So our project list here, the game paddle, it says you're going to create one similar to this. You can change your own colors if you'd like to. It's going to get locked to a Y value of 300. This will keep it on the same line at Y and not allow it to move in the Y direction, up or down. And just for reference, the radius for the ellipse on both sides of the rectangle is 25. And all movements are based on the mouse. So wherever the mouse moves, that's where they move. And so that's my example. The next one, the square. It's called a Foursquare. And let me open that one up so you can see what that one looks like. Open the Foursquare. This one again uses a offsets, so you have to figure out where the center point is and then how you can get it so it looks like this. And what we're doing with this, if you've ever played a Space Invaders style game when you have asteroids coming down or alien ships coming down, and you're a little ship and you're shooting rockets out the front, and you have afterburners on the bottom and stuff like that, each one of these little squares, the top 2 would be like your guns or your weapons across the top. The bottoms would be your rocket engines shooting out the back and stuff like that. So this is it's the same. We're going to use the same structure when we create a game similar to that, but we need to be able to move things where we need to move them on the board. So you can see that my center point for the mouse pointer is right in the middle, and I've offset these to the left and up, to the left and down, to the right, up and down. So they're equally spaced around the mouse pointer. So that's that one. So my suggestion is to use Khan Academy, start with 1, and then move it until it's where it should be. That way you have it in the right location. And then after you get the first one, you can copy a second one, and then a third one, and a fourth one. So that's project number 2. Project number 3 is creating a game scene of some sort. In this case, you're creating a cartoon-style game scene. The requirements are to have sky, which is your background color. Let me change that. Background color. You're creating a rectangle with grass. You're creating a house that has a different color roof. You're using some rectangles to create windows, some black lines to create the window panes like this. You have trees. They just look like lollipops. They're really skinny rectangles with a circle on top. And clouds. Clouds are multi-lobed clouds, which means that they have kind of fluffiness like this. All this is one circle, and then I have 2 other circles that are white on the outside of it. So it's just 3 circles per cloud, three ellipses per cloud, and I just I used Khan Academy and I used the number scrubber until I got it to the right location. You can use that Khan Academy number scrubbing to be able to move things and adjust sizes and stuff as you need it. So that's what we're going to do. That's the third project. And then the fourth one is to do a storm animation scene. And what you're going to do is copy the game scene. Whatever you finish here that you copy into P5, you're going to copy this into project number 4. And you're going to add the game scene, this original drawing, into the setup function. So it gets added one time. And then you're going to use shapes and animation variables. And it should make it so that you go from a nice, sunny, happy day to a dark, stormy, cloudy day. And so you'll have a darker sky, big old rectangle. Slide in. You'll have dark clouds. They could be the same style of cloud, but just colored a different color. And those will be animated to come into the scene. Rain, wind, and lightning. Those are the 5 aspects for the animation. And so these shapes can all begin off screen and then be animated to show up onto the screen as you need them to show up. So, and they might all show up at the same time. They might all come in and replace the nice, pretty scene here with a stormy one. Okay, so those are the 4 projects, and like I said, you can use Khan Academy to develop your projects.